I was going to film a video about why rejection hurts and how our brain is wired to understand, react, and cope with rejection. But given the current situation, I'll save that for another day. The COVID-19 pandemic has increased the levels of anxiety and fear of uncertainty across the globe. We fear for our health, for our jobs, for a global recession, and the well-being of the most defenseless members of our community. Right about now, most of the planet is in a lockdown mode. Humanity never faced anything like that before, and it's only normal to be triggered and have feelings of anxiety. In today's video, I'll share with you how I deal with anxiety and how you can too. We're going to explore why some people feel more anxiety than others, and we'll design a map to see how it works. I'm Dimitris, and welcome to another video of Design Thyself. I've been in lockdown for weeks, and many of you are in the same situation. I wake up every morning, and I have the same feeling as the day before, and the day before that. I do my morning meditation to ground myself, and that helps me realize that any wisdom that exists in what I already have within me. I do not meditate to get rid of disturbing thoughts or strong emotions. I meditate to become more aware of them, to witness them, not to battle with them. Every time I face a challenge, what I try to do is become an expert on the thing that is scaring me, and that helps me deal with my natural fear. And I do this in 3 steps. Number 1 is understand where it comes from. Number 2 is allow space for it to exist. And number 3 is be competent in using it. And those same 3 principles I applied when I was dealing with my anxiety. The best antidote for fear is competence. And if you can make yourself competent in understanding where your anxiety comes from, then making space for it and using it to your advantage becomes much easier. Some people are more sensitive to anxiety than others, and that's a great place to start your exploration. And this is how I started. I started by asking myself this simple question. Did I feel anxiety when I was 1 day old? How about when I was 2 days old? How about when I was 3 days old? Where I'm going with this is to illustrate that at some point in your life, something happened to you that made you construct the narrative that being anxious is helpful. Now, I know this might sound a bit odd, but stay with me. In order to understand how anxiety works, we need to go deep into how anxiety is being formed in the first place. Anxiety has a birthplace, and the birthplace of anxiety is memory. Now, a good question to ask would be, so what's the purpose of memory? And you might say that the purpose of memory is to remember the past, but that's just wrong. And it's not only wrong, but it's one of the most misguided thoughts you might have about memory. The purpose of memory is to select from the past what was effective while avoiding what was harmful in order to secure a better future. That's the purpose of memory. Memories that help us learn the most, good or bad, are associated with a strong emotional impact. Now, compared to the ordinary memories, like for example what you had for lunch yesterday, which might change in time, meaning that you might not remember it. Those learning memories are fixed and static. They do not change. I know, it's getting a bit confusing. So now's the best time to start designing our map and see exactly how memory works. You think that memory is like a box in which all the things we remember live. But that's not the case. Or to be more precise, it's a lot more than that. Memory is divided into explicit and implicit. Broadly speaking, explicit memory is a more conscious memory, while implicit is a relatively unconscious one. So there's a gradual fade of awareness from one to the other, from the most conscious to the least conscious. Even though both are memory systems and both are supposed to guide us throughout our lives, they're quite different in the functions they serve. They're also quite different in the way they connect different parts of the brain and our body. Let's take a closer look. Explicit memory consists of declarative and episodic memory, while implicit memory is made up of emotional and procedural. If I would ask you what did you have for dinner last night, the declarative part of your memory will be activated. Declarative memory allows us to consciously recall information and communicate it to other people. It's what enables us to tell a story that makes sense. When we articulate a declarative memory, we use a part of our brain which is called the cerebral cortex. Let's draw it down here. This is the outer layer of the brain, the one that looks like a walnut with other foldings, and it's full of neurons that process the highest order tasks in the brain, like knowledge, comprehension, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. It's the place where memories that are objective and free of emotion live. Let's call this the shopping list place. And one thing to keep in mind is that the shopping list place is rarely relevant to therapy. The next one is episodic memory. So, if declarative memories are factual and objective, then episodic memories are warm and full of emotions. They act as a bridge between the most conscious to the least conscious. And they are the type of memories that are felt rather than accurately remembered. They have this dreamy quality, and they can be very vague, but they can also be quite vivid. Episodic memories are responsible for creating beliefs. For example, if you had a positive experience with a teacher in elementary school, you might have associated learning with something positive and fun. Me, on the other hand, I remember being mocked by my teacher because I didn't know how to multiply numbers properly. So I was in front of the entire classroom not knowing what to answer, and she kept making fun of me. I can still remember the feelings of sadness and shame that I had, and throughout my school years, I had associated math with something scary and negative. Episodic memory helps us orient in space and time by drawing from the past what can be of use for the future. Therefore, it gives us an advantage of survival. We generally consider episodic memories to go back to the age of 3, or maybe sometimes earlier than that, when the part of our brain which is called hippocampus becomes reasonably functional. So let's draw a heart here and call this the heartfelt memory. So far so good, but now it's time to go deeper, to the darker, more unconscious parts of memory. So let's explore the territory of implicit memories. Implicit memories cannot be remembered voluntarily. You cannot even access them, not even as dreamy recollections. They come up as behavioral reactions, emotions, and sensations in your body. In therapy, they're often called action patterns, and those unconscious memories shape your life more than anything else. To understand implicit memories better, we first need to talk about emotions. So what are these things that we call emotions? Emotions are universal instincts shared by all mammals. The most dominant are fear, anger, disgust, sadness, joy, and excitement. Emotions are there to connect us with other people, but they're also there to connect us with the essence of ourself. The role of emotional memory is to encode significant experiences for instant reference in the future and also create immediate signals for our motor network. So, in other words, implicit memories organize our entire system for action. For example, let's say that when you were a little kid, you were going with your parents for a walk in the park. Suddenly, you hear the rustling of leaves, and as you turn your head, you can see with the corner of your eye the bush moving. And by the time your head is fully turned, there's a mad dog jumping behind it, biting your arm with its sharp teeth. Now, thank God your parents saved you, and that's why you're watching this video right now. But let's imagine you're now 30, and you're going on a date with a person you really like. You go for dinner, and you get all the cues that the person likes you back. And that's such a nice feeling, isn't it? So you suggest to go for a walk in the park after dinner. Now, it's a beautiful summer evening, and all of a sudden, you feel a gentle, cool breeze on your face. Life is so beautiful that makes you want to smile. But the same breeze makes the leaves of the trees in the park rustle. And the rustle of the leaves triggers something unexpected. Your pupils dilate, your mouth becomes dry, your heart starts beating fast, and your lungs take short and fast breaths. Anxiety has conquered your body. Your date asks you if everything is okay, and you feel embarrassed and even more anxious. So what just happened here? What happened is that your entire body has prepared you for a fight or flight response. The rustling of leaves was linked with the need for motor action with only one purpose: your survival. But you do not experience it as such. You experience it as anxiety and stress. And let's say that you had forgotten consciously about the mad dog incident. What you might do then is that you will link the anxiety with the person you're dating. These are the emotional memories, and emotional memories are the red flags of our system. So let's draw a flag over here. Something that had tremendous emotional impact on us and was encoded for immediate access. Next one is the procedural memory, and procedural memory goes even deeper. It's the spontaneous sensation and automatic movement of our body. We can divide procedural memory into 3 categories. The first one is the learned motor actions. For example, learning how to ride a bicycle, or learning how to snowboard, or even how to make love belongs in this category. With time and practice, our brain creates shortcuts to move our body without conscious commands. So if I'm thirsty and I want to drink water, I will give a command to my hand to reach the glass, bring it in my mouth and drink some water. But when I'm riding a bicycle and I feel that I'm about to fall on the left-hand side, by instinct my body knows how to shift weight to the right-hand side to bring on balance. The second category we call emergency responses, and is accessed when we face an immediate threat. Contraction, retraction, fight, flight or freeze live in this category, which brings us to the deepest category of our memory. What lives down here is so primal, is so before our time, that if we choose not to comply with its commands, our life is in danger. What lives down here is the tendencies of approach and avoidance. The human with the highest IQ and the most insignificant organism on this planet, they share the same system of approach and avoidance. We approach what is nourishing and we avoid what is toxic. And we call this the memory of the organism, the organismic memory. Now, I know some of you thought orgasmic, but let's keep those two separate. That's a discussion for another video. These movement patterns of approach and avoidance, expansion and contraction, are the backbone of all other motor actions in our system. Think of them as the traffic lights of our motor system. Red for avoidance and contraction, and green for approach, expansion. So when these procedural memories are being activated, it happens way below the radar of our intentional awareness. It usually happens when we least expect it and when we least consciously want it. Those parts of memory are so deeply engraved in our system that in times of threat and stress, they override everything else. All other implicit and explicit memories are being disregarded. But you have to understand that this happens for one reason only: to ensure your survival. Because at some point, those same reactions saved you during a traumatic event. Let me ask you this. Just close your eyes and try to tap into your anxiety. Where exactly would you locate it in your body? And what would be the sensation that you feel? Is it a fast heartbeat? Is it a headache? Is it a pain in the chest? What is it exactly? And now let me ask you this. What do you think your body is preparing you to do? Expand and approach something, or contract to avoid danger? And now the million-dollar question. Do you still think that the source of your anxiety is COVID-19, or your manager, or your kids, or your spouse, or your deliverables at work, or anything else that you might think it is? The answer is is sunt dragones. It's Latin and it means here be dragons. Do you remember the old medieval maps? Map makers used to write this phrase at the edges of the map where unknown territory started. They used to draw dragons and monsters, scaring the ships away and guarding those territories. Here be dragons means there's a danger lurking that we do not understand. Do you really want to understand your anxiety? Well, the good news is that you can. You have to be your own map maker and go to those territories of your memory that are guarded by dragons and monsters and map a path that is safe to cross. Your tools to do so are the bodily sensations that you experience every time you feel stressed or anxious or you feel under threat. Freud once said, "What the mind has forgotten, the body has not." And that exactly is your key to those unknown areas. You build a bridge from the more conscious to the least conscious memories by elaborating your bodily responses in a safe environment with trustworthy guidance. Traumatic memories shape our lives in ways we cannot comprehend, ways we might never suspect. But they all live in this big box of different kinds of memories. The narrative of our lives is based on the things that happened in the past that made us who we are now. Some of them we remember with our minds, others with our bodies. But the memories are all there. And if there are things that you want to understand more about you, or you want to change about you, what you need to do is establish a clear line of communication between your explicit and implicit memories and do the work. This work will help you develop new meanings and new behaviors, as it will allow new cognitive beliefs to emerge. And this is where you find meaning, in taking responsibility for your own well-being by understanding your dragons. At the beginning of this video, I spoke about how I meditate each morning. I mentioned that when I meditate, I do not fight my thoughts. I do not fight my anxiety or my stress, and I never try to keep my mind empty. Instead, I try to make space for thoughts to exist. I meditate to become more aware of the anxiety I'm feeling. I try to witness how it affects my bodily sensations. I just observe it. Try it too and leave your comment below to share your experience with us. I would love to hear what you noticed in your body. To know yourself is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. And it all begins with a couple of breaths and by noticing the sensations that arise in your body. Above all, don't forget that your anxiety is just trying to protect you, but is doing it in an unhelpful way. Make it your friend and try to understand where it comes from. And if you feel the need to chat about it, or if you want to go deeper in understanding it, click the link in the description below and let's have a chat. If you like the video, click the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I share videos around how to design a well-lived life and the self you love. I'm Dimitris, and thanks for watching.